but I'm here with you because I have an announcement, a very important announcement. You always ask me, how come you don't do more things in English, Mabel? So here I bring you an amazing opportunity for you, not only to enjoy myself, but also many great speakers. There is a summit coming up, and I don't want you to miss it. So for that, I invited my friend JJ. Hello.
Hello. Hi, Mabel. Nice to see you.
Yes, it's great to see you. And I just want you guys to know that I've known JJ since 2004, maybe even the year before, JJ, because if the book was published in 2004, I'm guessing we met probably 2002, 2003, who knows? So, can you show the book, please?
Yes,
Are you
I
okay?
have. There we go. Okay. You were playing on another channel, so I could hear you talking as we were talking. So
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
had to turn that browser off because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not going to be able to hear anything.
I'm glad you were able to. Inspiration to realization. We were 40 women, writing this book. I don't even know. Wow. I remember the place where we
You're
took
right
the
here.
photo.
You're right
Wow.
here, and I'm right
Little
here.
me there. Little me.
Well, 20 years younger, you and I. In the
Yes,
book.
yes. And that's wonderful. And that was also like an opportunity for us to believe in ourselves. Yeah, we were published authors
Mm-hmm.
suddenly.
Right.
Yes, and
Right.
and I think that helped. Could you introduce yourself to the people? Tell them what you do,
Sure.
please.
Hi, everybody. I'm JJ Flizanes, and I'm an empowerment strategist. And I help people create roadmaps to emotional healing by knowing their core wound map, well, creating a core wound map and knowing how to rewire their core wound patterns. I'm a host of many podcasts. I have an entire network called the Empowering Minds Network, but my most popular show is called Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. I've written 3 books, not including this one. I don't include this one. This
Yeah,
was before I wrote my own books, but this is if we include this and some of the other compilations, there's a couple more. And I am putting on a summit, and I asked Mabel to be a part of it, and I'm so thankful and honored that she agreed to speak. She's been on my podcast before, so we definitely have not lost touch in 20 years. But most recently, it was about 4 years ago that I had you come on to the podcast
yeah.
to teach the audience what you're doing and teach them Ho'oponopono. And I'm looking forward to having you back on the summit in a different capacity to change the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, so tell me, what was your idea to put this summit together? And thank you for including me. I appreciate it.
Of course. So several years ago, maybe 2020, maybe 2021, I was feeling a lot of appreciation for all of the wonderful guests and information that was being shared on my podcast. Some really, really important people doing important work in the world and helping lots of people. And I just felt so appreciative of it. And I thought I want to do something more with these people, just more than the podcast. I wanted to create a product. And I thought, well, what would that product look like? Hi from Chile. And I came up with the name then. It was probably 2020 that I came up with the consciousness upgrade. And then I wasn't ready to take action on it. And I just sort of let it be until this year. It said, "Hi, I'm ready." And I said, "Oh, okay." And here we are. So I'm now doing the Consciousness Upgrade Summit, which is going to be a product because people can purchase it and later, but it is free. It is free to come and get all the information. So yeah, I'm very excited to do it.
I'll see if I can share it, okay? I don't promise, but
Okay.
I think I can. I think I can.
Beautiful. You
Can you
can.
see
Yeah.
it? Okay. So
So,
tell us about it because there
okay.
are 17 expert speakers.
Yes. And it's in 19 days. and and again, so just think for a second about your consciousness and think about how many times a year you're asked to upgrade your phone and how many times a year you're asked to upgrade your computer.
Good
We
point.
live in a time where I don't know that we've actually looked at ourselves and think, did I actually upgrade the way that I'm living in the world? Do I have more information or at least information pertinent to me? am I evaluating and living in a space to deal with life and to get the things that I want in new ways? Because, your parents and grandparents, my parents and grandparents, didn't really think about if they were happy or not. They didn't think about manifestation. They didn't
No,
think
that
about,
was only just life happening.
right, you have to feed your children, you have to have a roof over your head. That's all I care about. And that's where they were. But we're in such a different place. And I think a lot of us, anxiety is higher than it's ever been. Depression's higher than it's ever been. Suicides, obesity, divorce is higher than it's ever been, because I think we're using old tools. We don't have an upgraded set of tools to work with and understand how we work. And that was sort of the point of this, is to bring all of you and myself together with information that, even just what we're going to share on the free summit, is enough to change someone's life, because it's a new way of looking at things. It's a new way of dealing with things. Obviously, I'm sure your experience with the amount of people that follow you is that,
I,
Ho'oponopono was like
I just
magic.
did, I just did a depression, live beyond depression class. That was the theme of this month, class. Because yeah, a lot of people are dealing with that.
Right. And we interpret information differently, we hear things differently. And so my goal with the summit was to bring together people who would deal with consciousness on many, many levels, from the physical body to spirituality to
Okay,
relationships.
let's go through the speakers. Bruce
Okay.
Lipton, who we all love and know. I don't think there isn't anybody on the face of the earth that doesn't know Bruce Lipton. But if you want to,
Well, if they don't, then they wouldn't really necessarily be interested in this in this summit necessarily. But Bruce Lipton, yes, is amazing, and we talk about the biology of belief a little bit, but we really go into consciousness. He does an amazing job talking to his audiences, and so we're going to be having that conversation again in ways in which everybody can take nuggets out of that and really reevaluate how you live your life in simple ways. He'll give you the science, but it's really going to be life changing. You're going to want to be there. He's amazing. He's fun too, and I'm sure
yeah,
you all know Bruce Lipton.
yes,
He's
I've
fun.
been with him many times, and yeah, he's a very nice person too.
Such a generous, warm-hearted, conscious, in the moment kind of man. I'm going to be speaking about what has been happening and what I've been being an expert in recently, which is core wound patterns and creating a core wound map, and why you want to know what your core wounds are. Because just like if you're going to a new destination and you're driving, you need a map to get there. And so how do we know what we're healing if we don't know what our wounds are? And it's not something where we're going to go back and like dig up things and stay there. It's about understanding and just doing an assessment, and then having a map moving forward, so I know what kind of different things I may need to heal. Harville Hendricks and Helen Kelly Hunt. So for those of you that don't know them, they created something called imago therapy. It's one of the best relationships therapy on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. They have mastered the
They
art of
look very
dialogue.
happy. They look happy.
Their work is the best at relationship therapy, but just moving beyond that. They're really, really passionate about creating connection with humans on the planet, and through dialogue, through not necessarily using, like, they want people to have connection, and they've created a dialogue and sentence stems that help people to listen and to speak and to
Important.
respond. And anyway, but it's so profound, and they are so passionate about what they do, and you're going to love them. So if you don't know them, you're going to love them. I
Okay, let's
promise.
continue. Dr. William Davis.
Dr. William Davis is well known for wheat belly. So if any of you who have ever dieted before, you don't eat gluten, well, you can thank Dr. William Davis for that, because he's the one that wrote the book on wheat belly. And he's got cookbooks and all kinds of, and then he moved into a book called Undoctored, and then moved into Super Gut. So what we're going to talk about is a little bit about why you want to be undoctored and what that's about, because that, from a consciousness place of really knowing that you're your best healer, you're
Mm.
your best healer, and you can
No, and
co-create.
especially after 2020, yes, we need alternative, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. And then, but we're also going to talk about, he is passionate about microbiome. And so he keeps finding different kinds of probiotic strains that we don't have, like, that we as a culture have lost over years and years of industrial civilization. So he's going to talk about the connection between our microbiome and our level of oxytocin and happiness and
Mm.
serotonin and our ability to have dreams and to feel. So it's going to be a very exciting conversation about the microbiome, as well as Undoctored. Dr. Nasha Winters, she wrote a book called The Metabolic Approach to Cancer, and she's going to talk about metabolism, because one of the things that she's different than other doctors that deal with cancer is that we're looking at terrain as the soil, right? And she's got a 10-step program for the terrain, because if you grew cancer in this kind of soil, if you don't change the soil, you might grow cancer again. So we have to change the parts of the soil that made up the conditions that brought you physically where you ended
Makes
up.
sense. Makes sense.
Right. Right. So, but we're going to talk about metabolism's role in that and the connection to gut health and brain health. Lynn McTaggart, if you know Lynn, she talks about the field. So we all understand chakra energy and our essence. And again, what Bruce talks about, the field. Like we are energetic beings living in this physical body. We are not mostly physical. We are mostly energy. And so the field is something we really want to understand in order to elevate and change our consciousness.
Wonderful. Marielle Hemingway.
Mariel Hemingway. And we're going to be actually talking about being present and our connection to food and our bodies when it comes to consciousness, and how that can help with mental health. Because as I'm sure you know, Mariel Hemingway has a very famous background. Her grandfather, her sister, she's got 7 suicides in her family. And she had to work hard to reprogram that and really deal with mental health in her life. So rather than take that on, she had to become more conscious in order to say, that's not mine. And how do I live my life not in
How
that?
to help others.
Yes, yes. Dr. Sharon Stills is a master of female, well, everybody, but mostly female. She's really passionate about females in aging optimally. So looking at how your hormones play a role in your aging, that, you know, past 50 in menopause, it doesn't mean you're dead and you're going to get cranky and we're just going to put up with, like, we have more power than you understand, that most people understand from a medical perspective. So she really is a master at bringing that information to you about how to live in a juicy, optimal, sexy, powerful, passionate vitality in a vital way.
Wonderful. Christy Whitman.
Christy Whitman is one of, she's more famous than me in the law of attraction space. I'm not really famous. I make that joke, but because she once interviewed me and said, "Oh, you have the most famous law of attraction podcast." I said, "Okay, I don't think that's true." I'm like, but I'll take it.
Sure.
But Christy wrote a book called The Desire Factor, and she channels, and she's been teaching law of attraction for a very, very long time. She deals with the quantum energy field and how we can channel and allow in that field into our consciousness so that we can utilize the information that we're getting from the field. So we're going to learn kind of how to do that and ways people can access that more.
Ooh, who's that?
There you are.
Wow.
There you are. The famous, the infamous.
So now I'm coming.
Yes. And of course, we're going to talk about ancestral clearing. We're going to talk about Ho'oponopono, but we're going to go deeper on this conversation, because last time you and I talked about it, it was pretty general. It was
and also it wasn't a good connection. Remember, I was in Spain and it was kind of weird that. So yeah, we'll talk in a little bit.
We're going to bring consciousness into this conversation. We're going to bring in that, like, levels of energy into that conversation. And actually, you are speaking live with me at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday, April 18th. Yes. Now, I have a schedule in front of me, but you want to make sure that you check the schedule right before to make sure everybody's still in the same slot.
Yes, we are going to be letting people know. And also, well, the idea is that they participate in all of these, because it's one better than the other one. But yeah, my presentation will be that 18. Actually, I will be live from Monterrey, Mexico.
How exciting. What time will it be there?
No, I think, if I'm not mistaken, just 2. I think we have only 1 hour difference now.
Oh, perfect. Well, actually, you're at 11. So 11 a.m. Pacific time. So it would be 12 o'clock Mexico time. Well, we'll figure it out.
I'm confused. Yeah.
Okay. We'll post it, follow along.
Yeah. I'm sure it will be in the description. Also, the link for the event and everything. Yeah.
Yes. And then, okay, so on the screen, so then Dr. Dane here. Dane is a co-founder of Access Consciousness, which in itself, I can't really tell you what Access Consciousness is, except I can tell you what they do. And there's a ton of tools. They just love, and it's amazing. He's a wonderful man, but he can give you tools to make you feel better in an instant that blow your mind, because they're really simple things. I don't even want to give it away, but just you want to come in here, Dr. Dane here, because he's untraditional, non-traditional in that way, and he's super fun, and his work is super effective for really, really small little ways to quickly get out of whatever momentum of energy that you're in. That's similar to Ho'oponopono, but different. I mean, there's different things that
Yeah,
they do.
different
Um,
things. And not everybody, will. I always tell people, not everything is for everybody. So this is the opportunity, you have the opportunity to research if you are looking. Yeah, this is really a great opportunity to see what is it that resonates with you.
Absolutely. And there will be more information that you can act on, really. And it's all of this information is to give you, again, like what you said, what you resonate with, what you need in that moment, that you take that tool and that changes your life. And that's my goal with this summit, is to be able to hit people at different levels and different ways, to see what you resonate with and see what you need, because maybe what you need is something physical and not emotional. Maybe it's a
Well,
body thing.
definitely, we all need the upgrade, like you said, and
Absolutely.
the
Right.
upgrade. There is no questions about that.
Good.
So, and it could be done in different ways. Yeah, different path. Not everything works for everybody.
Absolutely. Right. So Liz Kern is she is representing Radical Remission. I don't know if you've ever heard of Dr. Kelly Turner. She wrote two books. One's called Radical Remission, and then there's Radical Hope. And Dr. Kelly did a study of over 1,500 radical remission patients. So what that means is people that were dying,
Hmm.
and the doctor said you're going to die,
Yeah,
and then they miraculously healed.
yeah.
And so she studied those people, and she came up with 10 things that they all did the same. And she wrote a book called Radical Remission. And then the 10th one was Radical Hope. And we're going to dive deep into, and I'll give you a little hint. Out of the 10 things, 7 of them are mental, emotional, and spiritual. Only 3 are physical.
What a surprise!
Surprise, surprise. So, but
Yeah,
Liz and I are going to take a deep,
everybody works on the physical, yes, but it's not the problem is not there.
right, right. Yes, it can help to elevate, I think, the physical when, like, like a gut health thing, or when you eat cleaner, when you eat more live foods. It definitely can help us
Yeah, you
be
can
aware.
definitely can do physical things, but you definitely have to work on other areas.
Absolutely. Well, it's to us, right? The healing is that's where, to me, the healing is that's where the healing is. The healing, it's epigenetics and quantum physics, and then don't worry about anything else. You get that right, everything organizes correctly underneath it. So Liz and I are going to dive a little
And
deeper
then you
into.
have the easiest way, Ho'oponopono.
Absolutely, right. Right, which works on that spiritual, mental, emotional plane, which
Totally.
again, which then
Yeah,
changes your epigenetics.
I can tell you stories about everything because any problem is just a memory replaying in your subconscious mind. So, we just need to work on the subconscious and clean it.
Yep, yep. So
Okay.
Liz is going to talk about consciousness in relationship to radical remission. We're going to take that
That's
conversation a little bit
wonderful. I'm
deeper.
sure it will help a lot of people that are going through stuff right now.
Hmm. So Alana Pratt, Alana is an intimacy expert, and one of the things that Alana really loves to do, and that I love about Alana, she's a good friend, is to get into your intimacy, not necessarily your intimacy with somebody else yet, but really finding the juiciness of being in your body and the juiciness of being in your life, and what that means, and being able to allow yourself to have that experience, and what intimacy really means. So she's going to come up with some great things for us to do, because I know sometimes we have cultures, we have religions, we have families, we have all this sort of sexual like stuff that
Yeah,
stops us
study.
from expressing ourselves, and then we don't live, and then we activate pain, and we're going to be
Or we feel guilty because
right.
we have certain ways of feeling or acting.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
good. So giving permission to yourself, yes?
Absolutely. And then knowing what to do with that. Like, what do I do with that? How do I do that? What's something I should do daily in order to find that, to activate that, to be in that, to accept that, to practice that, to embody that. So we're going to talk about that.
Give
Uh,
permission to yourself.
yeah. Kelly Sullivan Walden is a dream expert. She's a hypnotherapist also, and Kelly helps people to use their dreams to expand your consciousness. But how to, if you don't remember your dreams, we're going to start there. How can one start to be more aware and bring those dreams into a conscious awareness where you remember them, and how to do that? And then if you do, just picking out some of the themes and what your dreams are here to do, how they're here to teach you, how they're here to
Mhm.
grow you. And
The messages, yes?
yes, yes, because you think that's like, that's a every night you have an opportunity. to expand your consciousness. And if we just have a dream and then go up, well, I don't remember, don't need to deal with that. Like they're messages. You're getting messages. No,
Exactly. And
do something.
from the Ho'oponopono point of view, there are opportunities to clean too. We talk about how to clean 24/7, while you sleep too, because it's your subconscious mind.
Right. Isha Patel Isha's been traveling the world, finding the sort of most activated vortexes and then working on the global grid of the planet actually. Like
Mm,
she literally has been traveling. And so we're going to take some of the lessons from global activation from her and global awakening and what that means. And we're going to talk a little bit about those grids. And we were passing each other. She's from Australia and I was in Sedona, and then I was leaving Sedona and she was coming to Sedona because
wow.
of course Sedona has some of those grids. But we're going to
Sure.
talk about consciousness from a global aspect with Isha.
Interesting. Interesting. That helps you also to know yourself more. Yeah, that we are part of all that. Or
Right. Well, when you
what is available to you.
right, it's a perspective, and understanding sort of a wider perspective helps us to feel more connected and more on the same page, and that we're not that different and we all share similar, and we're part of a big cloth, right? We're all part of this tapestry of, but we all want to separate and cause disconnection from people. So I think that conversation is going to really help. Now, last but not least is Dr. Jane Gwynn, and
I
she is
was going to say, last but not least. Yes.
well, I felt you there. She's a sex expert. And we are going to talk about sex. We are going to talk about you and your partner or you and yourself and consciousness in sex. I'm sure some people have heard people say that you can find God in sex and in orgasm. And I have not experienced that yet, but she's going to help me with that. And we're going to talk about how your consciousness in both ways affects your sex life and how your sex life and intimacy with your partner and your vulnerability and your opening of yourself can elevate your consciousness done in a loving, safe way. And I think that for a lot of us, again, like we talked about earlier with Alana, the sex conversation is a hush, hush, shame, guilt.
Yes.
Um,
That
that we
actually will open up a lot of doors for you in other areas of your life
absolutely,
because
yeah,
you will be happier. Yes.
more fulfilled physical touch. I mean, it's one of the, Think and Grow Rich, one of the strongest energies that we have is our sexuality. We have sex organs for a reason, right?
Mhm.
And so, but we don't pay any attention to them because it
Yeah,
brings up shame and guilt
exactly.
and
It's
all
something we don't talk about it.
right. It's not, but we have to if we're going to talk about fully experiencing and embracing that we're here on the planet at this time in this physical body. It's
Yeah.
part of who we are. And if we're in denial of it, we're repressing it. If we're repressing it, then we have something attached to it that has power over us. And if it has power over us, then it stops us.
Yes, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna be there. So something in English, yes, because my people always says, Mabel, why don't you do more things in English? Okay, so JJ is giving me the opportunity to present. Many of you know already, Ho'oponopono and what I talk about, this ancient Hawaiian art of problem solving. And the thing is, you know what I love? I love that when I hear Bruce Lipton or many of people that have degrees, that they are in science and everything, that they all talk about the subconscious mind, that our problems are in our subconscious mind. Ho'oponopono is about cleaning, things that we don't even know. But if you react to something, it's because there is something inside of you. Today actually I was doing this beyond living beyond depression, and I read something about, when you bump into a table and you hurt yourself or something, it's not the table. you know the table is just doing its job, or things like that. Or if a picnic gets ruined because the rain is not the rain. So it's never the people that shows up in your life the problem. It is you. Now we talk about 100% responsibility, but no guilt. Yeah. So what is it in me? Because if it's not in me, it wouldn't bother me, basically.
Absolutely. Right.
And,
If you're not,
and
if,
I used to be a tax accountant. When you met me, I was a tax accountant.
but you did talk about Ho'oponopono because I was looking that up. I was like, what was she
Yeah, I
talking
was
about 20
already.
years ago?
Yeah, yeah. I started my first Ho'oponopono training that I took was July 1997. In 2000, I was already teaching kind of. It wasn't really on my plans at all to teach anything. I was a very successful accountant here in LA. So it wasn't like I was looking, to do something to make money or anything like that. But my life changed, and I felt that it wasn't for me just to keep it for myself. And when you find things like this that help you, that change your life, you want to share it with people. You want to kind of shake people and tell them, hey, you can be happy now too.
I know. I have a whole show. And that's why I started it, was to help people be happy now and to figure out how to get what they wanted, how to manifest your relationships and money and happiness and healing. And yeah, I feel the same way. And every single person that's a part of this is the same, in terms of we all have had our experiences and we have learned something. It has changed us and we want to share it with other people.
Exactly. So, well, my change became, I was a very angry person, but I had everything you can think of that you need to be happy. But I wasn't, because I think, spirituality is the foundation. JJ, once in Japan, they asked me why, when I did business seminars or something like that, I didn't mention Ho'oponopono, or I didn't say it had a spiritual component. And I said, in US, nobody would hire me. They will think it's religion, or something weird. And they told me, in Japan, we wouldn't hire you unless we know it has a spiritual component, because we know that spirituality is the foundation of any successful business. So, can you
Yes.
believe, to grow up in that environment when you know that spirituality is a very important part, or even the foundation of a successful life, a happy life?
Definitely. Well, I think, and I'm surprised to hear that, actually, because I'm thinking about the culture. Because to me, with the spirituality, I also look at sort of our emotions are part of that, make up that relationship. Because we're all, I think, spirituality and quantum physics and epigenetics, like, what do we really all want? Well, we want to be happier, we want to be healthier, we want to be more successful, we want to be, ultimately, it's all about feeling better. End of story. It doesn't matter. Like all the stuff, like you just said, you had all the stuff, but you weren't
Yeah,
happy. We're all looking for the happy, but it's nice to have stuff too. Like, so how do you get all of that? And what does that involve? And I recently just did an episode on the show called The Connection Between Manifestation and Your Core Wounds. Because because I'm teaching business too, to not on my show, but to clients that I have in my mastermind. And but I'm doing all the emotional stuff and the spiritual stuff over here. And I see it very clearly, and I said, "Oh, maybe they don't see it. Maybe they don't understand the connection. So let me explain that you can only manifest as high as you understand your healing. And that you, as you grow,
yeah.
so will what you get. And if you're trying to get more than you're willing to grow, there's not going to
Yeah.
work, right?
Well,
So
because you are not in the same frequency, yes?
right,
Or
right.
you didn't expand it enough, or you didn't work on yourself. You don't have any clue, yeah? I used to be a good manifestor, but I didn't have any spiritual base, and that's why I was so unhappy, because I was looking for something in the material, but it wasn't there. And I love material things, but I don't put them first anymore. I don't depend on that to be happy. And then things just come. I always said money follows love. So when you do what you love, people love to work with people that love what they do. Yes. And you can tell who does it for the money and who does it because it loves it. I always ask the question, what would you do even if you don't get paid? Because you love it, because it gives you so much joy. Yes. And that is kind of the central point, or the beginning, of being able to discover who you are. Because usually is what is easy for you. It's is what you can do, that you don't need any training. It's natural. Yes. And people are always looking for, out there, outside of themselves, for answers or solutions or things like that, when we all have everything we need inside of us.
Do you know the book by Gay Hendricks called The Big Leap?
No.
It's it Gay lives here near me in town, and it's one of his, in my mind, it's one of the most important work. on the planet in terms of business, or because he talks about in the Big Leap, you look at your zone of genius. And so what you were saying is like, what's the one thing that you would do even if you didn't get paid for it because you love it and it comes naturally and comes easy to you? Well, we all have a zone of genius, but most people don't regard it as something valuable because it comes easy. They go, oh, it becomes too easy. That can't be worth anything to anybody because it comes too easy to me.
Sure.
But it's finding
How
that zone
come
of
I would
genius.
charge you for this? Yes.
Right. Well, for me, when I understood so the breakdown, it gave me a structure to work with law of attraction, which I've been working with for years. But there's also the question of when someone manifests something, but they can't hold on to it. You could be a good manifester, and you weren't even manifesting something that, because what you really wanted was the happy. You didn't care.
Mm.
The money was like, okay, cool, but I'm not happy now. So you were manifesting things, but you weren't getting what you wanted. And a lot of people want something more than they have, but they don't understand how to get there or
Yeah.
how to expand into a new place to receive it and then to hold it. And so anyway, so I love putting all these different sort of frameworks into understanding some of these concepts. And some people teach it in different ways. It's just, again, you say it one way, you say it a different way, you say it, you tell this story, you tell that story. People are going to hear it differently. But ultimately, we're all searching for the happy. And when we're happy, we get all the things that we want, as long as
I
the
I mean, you always say you are like a magnet. Suddenly, you are lucky. Things just come to you. Yes,
oh
but
oh,
only
absolutely.
because you change, only because you started believing in yourself. For me, was working on trusting myself first. And then I started trusting what I call God, that I found it inside of me. And I said, there is no way I'm doing this by myself. I made so many illogical decisions, JJ, since I started trusting. I practice a lot of I let go and trust. I let go and trust. I let go and trust. I don't plan or anything. And believe me, that is such living in the present, yeah, in the present moment. That is the only thing we have. I mean, it changes everything. One day I said, I don't have to worry about everything I worry. Yeah. And you take off, the heavy backpack off your shoulders and things like that. And I mean, your life changed completely. And as you change, everything changes, not the other way around.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm looking forward to you sharing and for us to have a deeper conversation about Ho'oponopono, because I want to add in this consciousness idea, and I want people that maybe haven't heard it before in a certain way to have it click, and maybe to look at some of the things that they didn't consider could be possible, like some of the
Yeah.
stories that you've already shared, and I know the things that you're teaching. But we're on the same page with the goal. The goal is to find a
I
way
think
to be happy.
like we said before, different path. Not everything is for everybody, but finding what resonates. Because when you find your path, also that gives you a lot of peace. And Ho'oponopono is about being at peace even if you have problems, because you will continue having problems. Problems
Right.
are, problems are opportunities. Problems, there is always a blessing, behind the problem. The problem is not the problem; it's your reaction to the problem. So
Right.
we work on the reaction so that we can be at peace, even if we have problems. And then we see how they pass. We see how solutions come from places we never imagined, how we always have what we need when we need it, but only because you stop being an obstacle in your own life.
Right.
So anyway, I'll be happy. Definitely, if Thursday the 18th, all the information will be below. Yes, the link and everything. And I hope that you really take advantage of this opportunity, because I guess that if your live is free, then you will be able to have them. Yes, all
So let me
the
can I share
yes,
what your audience gets?
yes.
So if you're a part of Mabel's audience, hi. It's free. It's 100% free. It's all day Wednesday and all day Thursday, the 17th and 18th. Now, even just in this short conversation, you might want to revisit this. Well, this is going to be posted and it's going to be something you can revisit. Well, the summit is not. It's live and then it's over. So if you think you would like to have it, there are 3 different tickets. There's the free ticket, and then the next one up is called the all exclusive pass, and it gets you all of the videos. And I'll tell you, there's just a few people who can't come live, and I already have bonus content because somebody went 30 minutes over with me, and I was like, oh, I'm keeping this. So that's going to go as bonus content. But if you use the code Mabel, you know how to spell her name, but all capital letters,
MABL.
okay, Mabel, all capital letters, In the all-exclusive pass, you will save $200. So you'll take $200 off, which makes the whole thing $97. When's the
Yeah.
last time you spent $97 on something kind of frivolous that was like a
Oh,
fleeting moment or a meal? All right. So this is going to be at least 20 hours. 20 hours of free tools, concepts, ideas, stories, inspiration, and ways and plans for you to upgrade your consciousness on all levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So if you use Mabel code in the all exclusive pass, you're going to get $200 off and only pay $97 to keep all of it forever. And again, no pressure. It's free. You can come in and out, come check
yeah.
it out. And but if you want to keep it, you want to
Also,
keep it,
because
please use
sometimes you cannot be live in all of them and you don't want to miss any.
right. And yes, definitely. And again, it's really how much you value this information and know that you get to keep it. Some people are really good note takers, but when you're too good of a note taker, you're not
You miss
present
it.
and you miss stuff and you think, "Oh, I'll take notes." I'd rather you believe
Be
in
there.
yourself, get the all exclusive
Be
pass
there.
for $97, sit back and relax.
And
And then when
sometimes you
you
want to review it. Yes?
right. And take notes the second time around. Go back in a second time and start to take notes where you want to. That way there's no pressure. You can stop the video. You can stop it and then watch it and take it slower. But that way you can just come be in the energy. And then you get to ask questions, because if you come live, you get to ask questions and we will answer those questions. So anybody wants to ask me about, you can ask them here too, but on that topic, that's going to be one of the benefits of coming live and you don't want to be taking notes and miss out on being able to ask a question. So we'd love to see you. Again, Mabel is speaking at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, Thursday, April 18th. And I hope that we get to see you there. It's
I
free.
will confirm the time too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, you'll have to let me know because we have.
No, no,
I,
no, no. That
oh,
whatever time we agree, we agree. And I
okay.
know I
So it's
can do
that.
it. I'm sorry. I'm confused.
That's okay. You'll put it in all the other time zones I'm not mentioning, right?
Yeah, don't worry. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Don't
Very
worry.
good.
Okay. It was wonderful, JJ. And thank you for doing this because I know it will change lives.
Thank you, Mabel. I can't wait to talk more about this.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.